What's good, YouTube? DM Gaming here, guys, and I got a very, very special guest with me. As you can see on the screen, I got his Twitter up right now. The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Kenzaru himself. I'm gonna allow him to introduce himself to y'all.
Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing today? And it's really good to be here because I've been meaning to make a video with you for such a long time. Like, we've been talking for like 2 years now.
Yep.
And I've been like looking forward to doing this, but I guess we didn't get a chance, but we're finally here. So it's good to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
It's always a pleasure to have you. I know everybody excited to have you on. I'm super excited. Like you said, it's been a long time coming. So guys, I am going to have a link to, I got his Twitter up on the screen right now. I'm going to have a link to that as well as his YouTube channel. I think, Ken, you got like several YouTube channels, don't you? Is the main one?
I basically like just focus on Applecan.
Yeah. Okay. I'll put a link to that in the pinned comment, guys. The pinned comment, so you cannot miss that. Go follow him on Twitter. He's over 54K followers. Go subscribe to his YouTube channel as well. Do you want to, for those people who don't know you, want to give them a brief rundown of who Kenzaru is?
Yeah, I would love to do that. So basically, I'm a translator. I used to translate everything from Japanese to English. Basically, everything you can think of: anime, manga, games, hentai. If you can think of something in Japanese, I basically translated that. So lately, I've been just translating, news, gaming news, anime news, manga news from Japanese to English. And also I've been covering gaming details a lot. Man, I love video games. So this has been my main focus these days.
I understand that. I know you're looking forward to the Cyberpunk game. I'm looking forward to that too. Very much so. But with this, guys, we're going to discuss Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, okay? And like I told Ken, I want to kind of take this video into 3 sections, kind of talk to him about where, how he feels about the game, and then as far as where the game can be improved, and then we'll finish with like where could we see the game going in the future. So Ken, tell me about your experience with Kakarot. Like, how did you feel playing it? What do you think about the game and stuff like that?
Okay, so first of all, I do want to tell everyone that I play games, but I also love learning more about the game's development and sort of behind the scenes stuff. So before the game even released, I was already excited for the game because I knew where the development of the game was going, which people were working on it, and how they were working on it. So all of that already got me excited for the game. I knew what we could expect from this game, and when the game released, we got exactly that. So I see lots of people on Twitter say that they were disappointed with the game, but like not among my followers, because they love the game, and so do I, because what we got is exactly what I thought we will get. Now, that doesn't mean that the game is perfect, because I don't think the game is perfect. Mm-hmm. Like, there are many things the game could have improved, could have changed, but generally speaking, I had a really great experience. Some of the things which I didn't think were gonna be in the game, they did, and that really surprised me. One example of that is the NPC interaction. So in any open world game, not just in like anime games, in any open world games, one of the main important things during development is NPCs. The only way you can make an open world in a video game to feel alive is to focus on NPCs and their interaction with the players, and also their interaction with each other. And I was not expecting DBZ Kakarot to like sort of go into that much detail, but they did. Like, if you start the game and you play the beginning portion, the Saiyan Saga, when Raditz crashes his pod on the village, if you go around nearby places and you talk to the NPCs, they are going to react to that. They're going to say that they felt an earthquake. Some are going to say that they saw a shooting star in the sky. And that's really awesome, because it makes you feel like these NPCs are not just, just there for show. They're actually reacting to the open world. So that was one thing that really surprised me. Overall, I did think that I was going to spend somewhere between, I guess, 70 to 100 hours in the game. And I did. Right now, I have about 100 hours. So what do you think? Like, I also want to hear your thoughts.
Like,
what was your experience on day one?
So, like, you know, I followed the game whenever they very first announced it. And similar to you, I kind of felt like we talked about a lot of stuff, and a lot of stuff that I talked about and we talked about actually ended up in the game and stuff. So all of that was really, really cool. I was like you. It was like the little, because I guess whenever we've been expecting so much to be in the game and stuff, and it was in there, like once we got our hands on it, I could pay attention to some other things, because you know, I already knew some, well, I didn't know, but speculated that turned out to be true of things in the game. So like what you was talking about with the dialogue with the NPCs and stuff, like that, the little stuff like that added so much immersiveness to the game. Now, and that's the goal. And I try to tell people about Kakarot that it's a different kind of game. It's not like Xenoverse. It's not like Fighters. It's not like the Budokai games. This is a game where they really want you to live in the Dragon Ball universe. And that's what Akira Toriyama said in his little message, you know, that they showed at E3 last year and stuff like that. So talking to the NPCs, seeing the things that they say, and just those little small details. I mean, even down to Goku's hair flying in the wind and things like that. Like it, even though the world isn't heavily populated, even it's like that in the anime as well. There's not a lot of people, or they're never around a lot of people, but the fact that when you do go around people, they're aware of what's going on. Like little stuff like that was really cool to me. One thing that I did wish they improved on was just as far as some scenes that were left out, like Vegeta's Final Flash against Cell. I wish that was in the game. Goku's instant transmission Kamehameha against Cell, like a couple of those scenes. But once I really got into the game, you don't think about that. You know what I'm saying? So I enjoyed the game tremendously. I'm still enjoying the game, and it's also one of those games where you kind of create your own experience, if that makes sense. So for example, right now, a lot of people aren't playing it and stuff. They feel bored with it, but I still play it. I still have fun with it because I kind of create those scenarios. Like when I'm fighting with Goku, I go through the transformation tiers and stuff like that. You know, little stuff like that is what I enjoy about it. It's the little things.
Yeah, I feel the same way, but like I want to explain one thing about the scenes that were not in the game, like Vegeta's Cell in the Cell Saga and Goku's instant Kamehameha. So basically, when the development of the game began, they had a clear idea of what to do with it. They knew they need to make an open world and they need to cover as much story of the game as they can. But here's the thing: once you start working on the game, it's really hard to figure out how much time it's going to take to, you know, make it, because you finish the game in chunks and then in the end you put them together, and when you put the game together, then the issues start showing up, like bugs, all the glitches, and that really takes a lot of time to fix. So at that point, the studio, not just like CyberConnect, any development studio has to figure out what they want to keep and what they want to get rid of. And it's really sad, but that's how it is in the industry. You literally have to just decide whether you want to delay the game, whether you want to delay the game, or whether you want to delete portions of your game, because it's a really sad choice, but you have to make it. Otherwise you are just not gonna release the game on time. Sadly, that's how it is. One reason, like in the beginning of the video, you said I'm excited for Cyberpunk. One of the reasons I'm excited for Cyberpunk is because the development of that game is handled by CD Projekt Red, and they publish their own games, so they don't have much of the limitations that other development studios like CyberConnect has. If they want to delay the game, they can do it because they publish their own games. CD Projekt Red, I mean, they can delay their game. They can delay the game like 2 times and it wouldn't matter because they don't have to answer to anyone. and the only thing they have to focus on is quality. So Cyberpunk was announced in 2012 and it's releasing in 2020. So that's 8 years of development.
Yeah.
Imagine that. But like studios like CyberConnect 2, they cannot afford that. They simply can't, because they have people on their team that they need to pay every year, and they simply don't have that kind of money and that kind of freedom. So sadly, things in Kakarot were gonna get deleted. I sort of expected that. So it is disappointing, but think of it like it's how it is. We can't do anything about that.
Yeah, that's a very, very insightful insight on that, man. Because a lot of people don't understand game development, and you know, I understood it a little bit, but I'll tell you what opened my eyes. There was this game called Dreams on PlayStation. I don't know if you've played that before or tried it out, and it's basically you're building your own game. I mean, you can make a movie or whatever, but you can make a game. And people have to understand there is a sheer amount of work that goes into making a game, you know. And I guess that's why I kind of get upset when people are like, hurry up with this or hurry up with that. You know, I know me myself on the channel, I don't rush content. I would rather just like more transparency. Like, let us know the roadmap, you know what I'm saying? And so you'll hear me say, hey, we need to hear something. I don't mean we need the DLC. No, I mean, hey, let us know what's going on. Like, is it delayed? Is it, you know, this or that? Because I understand what goes into making a game, and it is a tremendous time-consuming effort. And a lot of those game developers are underpaid. You know, they're not compensated properly. So that's really, really dope. As far as like the game goes, I guess we can transition to where do you feel like the game could improve at? We can transition to that area. So I'll ask that question. Where do you think Kakarot can improve in right now?
Like this has been my thought since the beginning, since like the release day. I feel like every boss in the game, like Vegeta, Frieza, Cell, Majin Buu, Kid Buu, every big boss in the game needs to be as difficult as Beerus is when you fight him. Because it sort of gives you a sense of it's sort of like this game is supposed to be an experience of Goku and like Dragon Ball, how the characters feel. And I think it doesn't really convey so well if our characters are over leveled or overpowered. It doesn't convey that. Like, I understand if they don't do it in regards to Time Machine. I don't want that. Like, if you want to use your Time Machine and you want to go back to Frieza Saga as Super Saiyan God, by all means, do that. But like, if you're starting a new game, I feel like every boss character should be extremely difficult to fight. It gives you sort of a sense of what that character felt in the story when they actually felt, like when Goku fight Frieza, or when Vegeta fights Cell. I want to feel the exact same of at least some amount of terror like the characters feel, you know. And I actually felt that when fighting Beerus. Like, usually I can just breeze through the game. Even if like I don't try, I can win against Frieza. But when it comes to Beerus, I actually have to think about, oh man, what do I do next? How do I dodge this? So I sort of want that. And what about you?
I want to bounce off of that, because that's something that we've talked about on the channel before. Is that if people, I paid a lot of attention to the early interviews and things like that. I covered all of that. And one thing that they talked about with the game was that how the game wouldn't have balance, and that how the boss fights are, it's not so much that they're more powerful than you, but they talked about how there would be these unique boss mechanics that would put you at a great disadvantage. And similar to what you're saying, once the game came out, I didn't get a sense of that. And we didn't get a sense of that, like you said, until we fought Beerus. I'm talking Beerus, that first fight, your butt clenched, you sweating. It's like, and Beerus is, I love that fight so much at the time, because if you made a mistake, you paid for it, and you paid for it dearly. Yeah. You know, the other boss fights weren't that way. And I'm wondering, I was wondering to myself, did they realize this? Did once the game came out, they seen people kind of flying through the boss fights with ease, and they was like, you know what, this is we got to make this more difficult. And also going forward, are they going to build on that? Because once we learned how to fight Beerus, the fight wasn't hard. You know, it was just a matter of, okay, he's going to do this attack at this time. So me personally, I felt like even with the boss fights, they could have added some more randomness to it. And I know that's very difficult to do, especially in a short amount of time. But given the fact that this is a game that could be updated, you know, I'm wondering, is that something that they could update in the future? But at the same time, it's like, are people going to go back and play it to get a harder challenge? I think a lot of people would, because a lot of people are looking for a difficulty added to the game. And I'm wondering, like, is that something that they could do? You know, make those boss fights a little more difficult, you know? But that is...
Actually, it's...
Go ahead.
Sorry for... Go ahead.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
So basically, it's from a development perspective, it's not that difficult to do. All they need to do is at the title screen, just add a hard mode to the game menu. So you can start the game all over again, but in hard mode. And that would buff all the bosses in different ways. It's not that difficult to do. So they can adjust that. It's possible. Like if they want to do it, they can definitely do it, and very easily.
So I'm wondering, is that something that they could implement? Like, you know, we're getting a free update that's supposed to have the car battle. I personally think there's going to be more to it than just that, but something that can revive this game, because I don't think the time machine is the answer. A lot of people are wanting difficulty added to the time machine, but I think a new game plus would be so much greater. Also, if they were able to, like, those scenes that were possibly in the game that were taken out, since they've had more time, they could add those back in without the bug glitches and things like that. But I think a new game plus with a harder difficulty would serve this game, would give it a much needed sensu bean, if you will, for lack of better words, or something like that. What do you think about that?
Yeah, definitely. I do feel the same. People are looking for a reason to play the game again. Me personally, I started a new game. Like, I was really wishing the game had a new game plus, because just like you said, it would be really a sense of being for the game. So yeah, it would really help it.
And then with another thing that I would like, I did a video about it called True Training. It's something that I wish the game would have done better, was the training. You know, Goku ate a lot, that's no doubt, yes, but I think the game puts way too much emphasis on eating and boosting your stats through eating, as opposed to training. Goku literally spent so much time away from his family simply training. And then we have places like King Kai's planet that's just not being used. And I feel like the same way they did the gravity room at Capsule Corp, they should have done some kind of training that Goku could have done on King Kai's planet. And that training should have been a way for you to increase your metrics, your stats, as far as your key attack, key defense, melee attack, melee defense, and then let eating increase your health and your key.
Oh, yeah, that would have worked so much better. I think they did have plans to include Goku's training with King Kai, because you see the King Kai planet is in the game.
Yes.
It is there, but there's not much we can do there. There's literally, like, you can run around and jump, which is fun. It's like the most fun. And when I first saw that, it was like the funnest thing I did in a Dragon Ball game. But like, content-wise, there is not much you can do on King Kai's planet. There's maybe one or two subquests. There's one with the bananas, but there's not much. I do think they did have plans for it, because they wouldn't just make the entire planet and the gravity around it, all that stuff, just for one quest. So I think it probably got removed before the release of the game. Now the issue is that these things, I don't think they can add it back, because in order to add these things back, they need approval of their publisher, which is Bandai Namco. And Bandai Namco wouldn't approve something if it isn't profitable. And as a company, I totally understand that. Yes. Why would, like, if you ask a company like, hey, can you pay us for like 2 months, or our employees, because we are working on this changes to the game, then the publisher are going to ask him, if you're doing this work for 2 months, we are paying you, then how is it gonna benefit us? Like, how are you gonna monetize this? How are players gonna pay for it? But like, they don't have an answer to that because players are not gonna pay for that. So yeah, it's really a difficult thing to do with the publisher.
That's
I don't think it's happening.
Oh, okay. That's one thing that I've echoed so much is the business side of things, and I think that's what allowed me to help better understand the game and the direction that the game is going, because I tell the subscribers that, guys, you have to think of things in a business sense. So for example, the free update, people, oh man, it's awesome, a free update, or it's a Cars Battle. It's like, yeah, it's free, but there's always like a catch-22 to it. There's always something. They're not going to just give you content for free. There's something along with it. And when you look at the Cars Battle, guess what? There's going to be microtransactions. And then, hey, guess what? In order to go to the microtransaction screen, there's probably going to be advertisement there for the DLCs and things like that. But similar to Xenoverse, you know, they give you a little tease of content that pushes you to buy the season pass or a season pass or DLC to get the rest of that content, or to get a more, you know. So that's something that people, I feel like, need to understand more, is the business side of it all.
Yeah. Sucks, but well, that's how it is.
Yeah, it's business. It is what it is, you know. And that makes sense that Bandai, you know, wouldn't add something like that you know, it wouldn't make sense for them from a business standpoint. So as far as like just improvement, I think those are some of the major improvements to the game that I've heard people talking about, even me myself, is just the training, the grind for eating. You spend so much time gathering ingredients that you're not playing the game. And this is a game that, yeah, it's based on your power and strength, but it is a technical game. You do need to know how to dodge, when to use certain attacks. And training with Whis was interesting because I don't know if a lot of people paid attention to the dialogue, but Whis is actually training you how to play the game better. You know, it's telling you to, you know, attack. An opponent is more vulnerable after they attack and things like that. So I don't know if a lot of people paid attention to that, but, you know, it would be great in the future if they could add, you know what I'm saying, some kind of, make training more relevant in the game. You know what I'm saying? That. Was it any other improvements that you think that they could make to the game?
I'm gonna add one more thing to, not like an improvement, like, but you said that Whis is the dialogue for Whis is like basically training you on how to play the game. And that's another thing which I think is a big positive for DBZ Kakarot, because the dialogue in the game is amazing. Like, they have callbacks to original Dragon Ball series. They have jokes, some inside joke. Do you remember there's a scene when you meet Launch? Goku says that, who forgot about you? And that's basically a nod to Toriyama forgetting about Launch. The dialogue in the game is great. I don't think that is something that they shouldn't like and touch it. It's great as it is. Any other improvement? I think they should really focus on the future of the game. Like, what's done is done. Like, if they are thinking about making changes here and there with the updates, that's fine. But like, Bandai Namco is not gonna approve anything huge. So what's done with the Cell saga, the Frieza saga, it's done. I think going forward, they should really focus on the future and the future content, and basically make a timeline for what they want to work on, and focus more on quality rather than quantity. Like, just give us one arc, just Trunks arc, but do it right, do it perfectly. Don't give us like 2 or 3 arcs, just give us one arc, but do it perfectly. That's basically, I think, something that's going to benefit the game most going forward.
I just want to add real quick, because you're talking about, you know, the funny interaction with Launch and stuff. I think my favorite sub quest had to have been the one with Yamcha, because, you know, the homage to the whole Cyberman death thing and stuff like that. Like, dude, that was hilarious, you know, and the game has those tidbits of funny moments in it. Like, that is so interesting and cool that they did that. But since you're talking about future content, I guess we can just transition straight into that. And like, as far as future content, where do you where would you like the game to go as far as, I know you talked about quality over quantity and stuff like that, but is there any content that you would specifically like to see in the game?
I would personally love to see them sort of do an original take on Dragon Ball Super. Now, here's the thing. Dragon Ball Super is in a very unique situation because it didn't have a manga at the beginning. Most series, they get a manga from the author and then they get turned into the anime. But with Dragon Ball Super, we don't have that. We just have Toriyama writing notes, basically bullet points for the story of Dragon Ball Super. And that those bullet points get turned into a manga and into an anime by different people. And both are different because they are each the interpretation of different teams. The manga is by Toyotaro, his interpretation on all the bullet points written by Toriyama. And then the anime is the interpretation of Toei Animations. Now, imagine if CyberConnect, this, by the way, CyberConnect is really good at doing, original adaptations. They are really good at animations. They're really good at cutscenes. Their team manager, their animation team is amazing at making original, I forgot the technical term for it. What's it called? Storyboards. The original storyboards for the animations and story. They're really good at it. So if they were to take the original bullet points of Toriyama, like Battle of Gods, they've already done the Beerus arc. But let's say Zamasu arc. Let's say Tournament of Power. And if they were to take those bullet points and turn that into their own interpretation, that would be my dream come true with this game.
I think that speaking of Super, I know a lot of people are wondering, why did they start with Z? Why didn't they start with Super? Why are we not getting a Dragon Ball Super based game? And their explanation for that was because there's a lot of new people coming to Dragon Ball from Dragon Ball Super who don't know that background story. And while I would love to have had a Super game, I am glad that they started with Z, because the way that this game is, I've never played anything like this. I know people compare it to the legacy of Goku, but even still, this is still something different. But with Super and the way that the game set itself up with original content, the sky is the limit. They literally, in my opinion, have a blank canvas that they could, if they wanted to, they could explore the universes, because all they have to do is call it original content and they can make whatever they want. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I try to tell people as far as DLC. It's guys, maybe there's only one season. There may just be, it's man, they can literally stretch this game out for 2 to 3 years easy, and not even have to cover stuff the exact same way it was done in the anime or in the manga, simply because you already have Banyu. You already have Android 21. You have Toa and Mira in the game. You've opened up those avenues to provide the game with original, unique content never before put in a Dragon Ball game and never before done anyway. So as far as that goes, man, I'm kind of like, let's explore that. Let's see where that road leads.
If they do that, this game is gonna be next level. Now, one more thing. When thinking about why did they choose to start at Dragon Ball Z and not at Super, one more thing that I think this, please don't take this as a fact. This is just my observation.
Okay.
So when you are developing a game, especially an open world game, one thing that is important is the map. Which location is the game taking place in. So if they started at Super, this would be a very bad design in terms of DBZ Kakarot. I made an entire video regarding this on my channel long ago. So in short, an open world game needs locations, and Dragon Ball Super just don't have that. Let's suppose DBZ Kakarot actually was Dragon Ball Super Kakarot, and it started with Super. So we would have Earth as the location, maybe a big green field for Beerus Saga. Then we have second, which is Resurrection F, which is again Earth, and it is again in a open green area, so not much different from the first arc. Then we have the third saga, which is Universe 6 tournament arc where Champa and Beerus have this tournament on a nameless planet. Now, this might seem like a new location, but trust me, in terms of open world, this is really bad. Because the map would simply be a small arena and nothing more. Because it's a nameless planet. There are no NPCs there. There's no environment there. There's literally just empty. So again, first 2 arcs Earth, then third arc is a trash planet. Then again we have Zamasu arc, which is again on Earth. So we don't have any other location again. It's a simple plain green field or maybe West City. That's it. And then we have Tournament of Power, which takes place in the world of Void, which, going back to the tournament arc, it's again a blank canvas. There are no NPCs there. It's just a void. So an open world game, when it takes place on Super, it's a really bad design. So they had to start at Z. There was no way they were going to make an open world Dragon Ball game with Super. It was just not going to happen.
And I think the same kind of scenario happens with Dragon Ball, because a lot of people, including myself, would like to see a game start at Dragon Ball, but it's kind of the same thing. They was on Earth, and most of it took place at the World Tournament Arena, you know. So I remember you did that video, and I kind of talked about that as well, you know, piggybacked off of that and shared those sentiments with people about that. And here recently, you know, whenever I'm talking about the game and people have those questions, I bring up those same points that you made, that there's not a lot of locations that they're able to do in the game for that. As far as like Banyu, characters like Banyu and Android 21, do you think that the game is done with them, or do you think that they could possibly explore more of them in the future?
Well,
because when we finish with the Boo Saga, we find Android 21. She's around in the open world looking for stuff. So
Android 21's situation is very complicated. Like, I don't fully understand why they put her. Like, I found out, like, I think 1 year before the game's release, that she was gonna be in the game. But when I asked my source, like, why, couldn't tell me anything. I was like, okay, Android 21 is the game, but what is she doing? He couldn't answer that, and I couldn't understand her situation in the game either. Then he told me about Mira and Towa as well. Like, Mira and Towa are gonna be in the game. I found out about that as well, like 1 or 2 years before the game's release. But that time I understood, because like Towa and Mira, they are like two creatures who can go between worlds. They can fit in any game. You just have to just show them coming out of their magic thing, and they will fit in. But Android 21, she doesn't fit in the game right well. And same with Banyu. Like, Banyu's backstory is really good, that she was part of Ginyu Saga. So why not explore that? I don't understand that. Like, they should have given us some more content related to Banyu, but they didn't. They just included a character and just used her for training. So in a way, it's like I'm like 50-50 on this, because it does add more characters into the game, so it does improve the game. But the thing is, it can be improved further, and they don't want to do that for a reason that I just don't understand. So yeah, I don't know what they're thinking.
I was kind of the same way. Like, I was excited about Banyu. I actually thought there would be more story behind it. To find out that it's Android 21 who's using this training machine to study this data that was found. You know, it's like, is that all? And then, you know, seeing Android 21 in the open world, like, what is she looking for? You know, is that something? Are they leaving us on a cliffhanger, or is that it? You know, because it would be kind of cool to see where that goes, you know. But like you said, it's almost, right now it just doesn't serve a purpose, you know.
Yeah.
And I want to ask real quick, I guess we can kind of conclude with this last talking point, where we're currently at with the DLCs. What are you looking forward to from DLC 2, and then what are your speculations about DLC 3?
Okay, so DLC 2, I'm looking forward to another tough battle. Just give me Beerus Part 2. obviously not Beerus, like Frieza, whoever we're fighting, but like make it really difficult. And I just want to experience that boss battle type of feeling that I got when I fought Beerus. That would be amazing. And obviously, I want them to really think about Super Saiyan Blue and not just make it a color change. I don't want them to just change the color and we are done. I want them to think about Super Saiyan Blue and incorporate some moves related to that form. That would be really good. And my speculation about DLC 3, well, I know for a fact that they've been working on it for a while, but I don't know how the pandemic affected their development. So I can't comment on that. But if the development goes smoothly, it's going to be really, really good. I think the first saga, Saiyan Saga in the game, was 7-8 hours long. I think we can expect something along those lines, maybe 10 hours of an arc. And from one of the leaks, we already know that it's going to be Trunks Saga. Whew. So, and which is one of my, Trunks Saga is one of my favorite stories in the game. Future Trunks is one of my favorite characters too. So, yeah, I really hope they do him justice. How about you?
Well, with DLC 2, I'm kind of the same way. I want Super Saiyan Blue to feel different, to play different. And looking at some of the new moves, I noticed, like, yeah, they got the upgraded Galagun and Kamehameha, but they're also giving them these moves that are very physical moves. And when you look across other games such as Dokkan, you look at games like Fighters, you look at Legends, Super Saiyan Blue has a lot more physical attacks than like key-based attacks, even with Vegeta. So I thought that was really interesting that they are adding that into the game with those attacks. What isn't clear is, are they like those upgraded combo type attacks, or are they literal separate upgradable super attacks, which I would think they are, because they haven't given us any kind of melee super attacks since the game has come out, you know. But I'm hoping that they kind of blend DLC 1 and 2 together. It was my speculation that DLC 1 and 2 was originally planned to be together, but they made them separate for whatever reason, and thus why DLC 1 seems so short and DLC 2 is slated to be sort of the same as far as length, but I think together it'll provide more depth and content. And then as far as DLC 3, which, you know, that I woke up to that information that morning about, you know, Trunks, future Trunks, Hope and stuff, and did a video about it, and the community ran wild with that. I think overall people would accept that a lot more. Then it just becomes a debate of, well, are we talking history of Trunks? Are we talking Goku Black? You know, what are we talking? And I know that Trunks is involved in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Like, that's why I believe the leaks are true as well, because they put him in the ritual. They didn't have to do that. They have Vidal's character model in the game. Like, it would be so simple to just throw Vidal in there, but they made a point to put Trunks in there. They made a point to have him playable in the game, even though he only fought Frieza and he fought against Cell. That was pretty much it as far as Trunks is concerned. I know people are gonna say, well, that's 2 fights, but I mean, you look at Gotenks isn't playable yet. We fought, you know, and Vegito, which I understand why they're not playable, because there's things that involve them being in the game. They're not just gonna make Vegito a playable character, because people have to understand we're playing in a living Dragon Ball world, and Vegito isn't just walking around all willy-nilly. Neither is Gotenks. You see what I'm saying? But
yeah,
DLC 3, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that first of all, I hope they show something about it at Tokyo Game Show. But also, I'm like you, I really hope that it's done right, that they take their time with it. I'm not so concerned with how long it takes for it to come out, because I want it to be good when it comes out. And I'm also interested, because it's a bigger DLC, will they add some more things like into the game as far as like stuff to do and stuff, like things like that. So
it is a big update, so they might. Well, let's hope they do.
yeah, let's fingers crossed. Let's hope they do. So It's been awesome, dude. It's been everything that I expected. I was talking with you and more, and I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. I really look forward to doing this again, especially like once the DLCs start to come out. Maybe we can do a follow up after DLC 2 and then DLC 3 or whatever. I'm extremely grateful for your time. I know it's super early over there for you. Anything that you want to say to everybody before
well, just this, that right now we are going through a pandemic and whatever. I know everyone's situation might be really difficult right now, whether you are in school, college, or whether you are working in a job. We are going through some weird times. So if you're going through some difficult time, just take time to relax, play some games, maybe watch some anime, whatever helps you. And yeah, just take it easy for a while. Don't be too hard on like, oh, I gotta work, or I gotta study, because it doesn't matter, the pandemic is going on. Just be easy on yourself. Just that.
You heard it from him, guys. So I really appreciate y'all for tuning in, for sticking with the video. And like I said, go subscribe to his channel. I'm putting a link to that in the pinned comment, as well as a link to his Twitter account in the pinned comment as well. Go follow the guy. He does great content, does a great job at what he does, and is very well known and respected in the community. Guys, that's all I got for today. Till next time, y'all. Thanks for watching. Peace.